Namaskar, greetings, gratitude. I welcome
Namaskar.
you all on the StarTalks episode number 24. And today, with me on the hot seat is Miss Sudha Ravi, who is the co founder of Sunne EdTech and teacher MAGI. Ma'am is an was an English language teacher and a trainer now since 3 decades. Ma'am was the vice principal at Delhi School, and now she's training adults, teachers, and principals. I welcome you to the Star Talks, Sudha ma'am.
Thank
How
you.
are you
Thank you,
doing?
Preeti ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for having me over at this show.
My pleasure, ma'am. Ma'am, please share with us your journey from teacher to the trainer.
To give you in a nutshell, I started my journey as a teacher way back in the early 90s and started in the city of Hyderabad. Started from being a teacher, part-time teacher to a full-time teacher, and then moved to Delhi very soon in 1993, if I'm right. Yeah, there I started my journey in a very famous CBSE school as an English teacher for middle school and for class 9 and 10. And then I should say there was no looking back. Moved on to become a senior teacher, a PGT, taught classes 11 and 12, and then moved to a big name, the APJ group, as the vice principal. And in all this journey, I would say I have met immense people, and all the people have in some way contributed to my growth, to my success. And as when I was in Delhi, I was picked up by the CBSE and trained for many of their programs. And I've written for CBSE. And then 2007, I moved to Chennai. And that's when I started concentrating more on teacher training rather than being a full time teacher or in any administrative position in the school. So and that's how it's been. And then became the master trainer for many of the CBSE programs and traveled the length and breadth of this country, trained teachers at various schools, still continuing.
Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. This is so great. And ma'am, what is this DAV Shikshanam initiative?
So, DAV group of schools, as you know, it's a big group. In Chennai, they have started, this started almost 7 years ago. They felt that, the teaching community needs teachers who are trained and given hands-on experience, not just, 1 month of classroom practice, which is very typical with the B.Ed program. So this initiative was started. It's called the Postgraduate Certificate in Education. And about 50 people are picked up every year. It's a 1 year, very intensive program. And they have different subjects: education philosophy, psychology, and the core subjects which these women and men opt for as teaching subjects in the for classroom. And they can decide whether they want to teach the primary, the middle school, or the senior school. And based on their performance also, they are told which is a better area for them to start with. And the best part is, most of these people, by and large women, there is a small percentage of men who join the program. They all are looking for a second career in their life. Most come from the software, or they have been in marketing, in HR, but then these jobs being very high pressure jobs, they get married, they take a break, and once their kids are, say, 3 or 4 years old, they feel teaching is a good profession. And they are the ones who apply, and the selection procedure is quite stringent. They go through a written test, there's interviews, 2 levels of interviews, and then they are admitted. And as I was saying, the best part is 3 days of the week they come to the Shikshanam, classroom for the classroom interaction where people like me go. I go and take communication paper with them. And the
Okay.
other 3 days, they are assigned to DAV branches where they have a mentor. And these people go as mentees. And they are under the wings of these senior teachers. They work with them, they see them in the classroom, they understand practical challenges that these teachers face. And that is how this whole program is designed. So, right from day one, practically, they get to see what is the teacher's role in the in bringing up the students, in motivating them, in shaping their lives. So I'm part of this initiative now for the past 3 years. So to as of now, we have the seventh batch that is running at this point. In the month of March end, they will have their exams, and they are already interviewing at different places. And other schools, now it's become so popular that other schools in Chennai also ask for teachers from Shikshanam, because the training rigor is kind of a
Yes.
different level.
Very wonderful initiative, ma'am, I must say.
Yeah,
Wonderful program. Yes.
absolutely.
So, ma'am, you're doing so much. Please share something about your passion, ma'am.
Passion
What
is
are
to
you
be with
passionate
teachers.
about?
Passion is to be with teachers. And somewhere, I feel this is, if we can help teachers realize what teaching is all about. Teaching is not actually teaching, it's learning. The day we are able to learn and we are able to understand the student, so learning from the perspective of the child, learn
Absolutely.
how the child learns, right? So when as teachers we get to that core, then you blossom and you find ways to reach out to the students. Today everybody is talking of multiple intelligences and all that. That is nothing but understanding how the child learns. I actually once did a workshop on understanding children, and let's find out how students learn. Has anybody gone into understanding that part? How learning happens, how the brain processes information, not in great depth, not going into the neurology part of it, not going into the neurons and stuff, but at the basic level, where is which part of the brain is responsible for motivation. So what is motivation? Warm up activity, nothing but warm up activity, creating a classroom where the child is motivated and feels happy, right? So when that happens, then learning happens. Finding out what is the student's attention span. There is enough research to show that age into 2 is the attention span. If the child is 10 years old, attention span is 20 minutes. So then can you
Okay.
divide the time? So suppose
Okay.
a school has got, let us say, 40 minutes period, right?
Okay.
So can you divide it and say, okay, 20 minutes is the time when I'm going to actually push the important content that I am planning to do today? So then out of 40, how much am I left with? I'm left with another 20. So can I plan about 5 to 7 minutes of warm up? Then can I have last 10 minutes for recap, rounding off the concept and saying, okay, this is what we did. So a few oral questions or one or two writing practice. So, that means lesson planning, nothing but lesson planning. So, understanding all this and then getting down to planning activities, planning it according to your class. So, I have done a lot of study on this, and I always, encourage teachers to put in all this even while planning. So that's where the passion comes from, right? It's not just going delivering a session or getting into the class and teaching because I think that's a good job to do. No, teaching is not a job at all, in my opinion. It's a commitment. It's
Absolutely.
like penance. It is like prarthana, right? It's totally devoting your time and energy, and then it shows. It definitely shows. And that dedication somewhere comes up. Nothing goes unrewarded, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Like my principal ma'am, she says that we have to come up to the levels of the children.
Yeah, so well said. Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you. Ma'am, you are the co-founder of Sunne EdTech.
Yeah, it's
And
Sun
what is,
EdTech. Sun
okay,
pronounced with a double N.
okay. What is this startup all about, ma'am? This is some
Yeah.
startup. Yeah,
So, Sun EdTech is a
Sun
startup.
EdTech.
So,
Okay.
it is with my very good friend and an ELT specialist called Leena. And she is a PhD in English language teaching from Madras University. And we had the opportunity of teaching at Chennai IIT. We taught there for almost 13 years, the BTech and MTech entrants. And we realized they are clearing their physics, chemistry, and math entrance, JEE, right? So called the topmost examination of the country. But then communication is, they will put their heads down, they won't talk, they're so scared, there is inhibition, there is am I correct, am I saying it correctly? So these were the students who were taken under our wings, and we used to conduct a 40-hour program. And that is when my friend came up with this idea that we should do something to take language across, especially for that group of students who need it the most. And she came up with this whole solution where we said, okay, let us look at CEFR, Common European Framework of Reference. And from there, we developed the speaking program. It's essentially a spoken program where we have made 14 videos, and each video is not more than 4 minutes, and each video has a particular function, language function. For example, describing yourself, or then inviting, how do you invite, what are the function words. And then each video has a lot of vocabulary followed by a worksheet. So the person who takes this program goes through this entire 14-week process where he develops the language. And the best part is, he watches the video, he does the assignment, and then he uploads his own video.
Okay.
That is the catch there. Once he uploads the video, it is assessed by artificial intelligence. So we have created parameters, and he gets a report on vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and fluency. And it gives him, once he reads the report, so he knows how I should do the next video. When I'm making my next video, what are the points I need to keep in mind? So the progress is it's a self-driven program where you can see the progress. And these are for people who are shy. So when nobody is stopping them, when nobody is telling them, hey, you are incorrect, say it again. Nobody is doing that to them. So then their language becomes better and better. So we have tried it out, and we already have completed it in schools for teachers. Actually, when we went and told schools we want to do it for children, schools said, "Well, please first train our teachers. They
Okay.
themselves competence in English language." So that's how we have trained till now about 300 teachers mm, in
Beautiful.
the state of Andhra and in Tamil Nadu, and we are pitching for more and hoping more people. Basically, but it's for anybody above the age of 13. See, language learning is not age specific. Language,
Absolutely.
anybody, even at 50, if you can't speak, you have to learn.
Absolutely.
People go and learn new languages, isn't it? German, French, I'm going there, so I learn. So it has nothing to do with age, right? So it is competence. So we
Absolutely.
are trying to develop the spoken competence. That is the
Wonderful.
initiative.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. So, ma'am, you are a language trainer, you are an examiner, a content developer, and a storyteller as well. So, which is your favorite role, ma'am?
I try to integrate. Even now, I'm telling you a story, isn't it? So,
Okay.
Life is a story. The other day I was watching a very beautiful video, and this guy had two kids with him, and he was telling them that we can find stories everywhere. Why are we going and looking for them in books? Yes, of course, those are um, rich with stories, the Panchatantras, and some of our value-based Puranas, everywhere you have stories. But then, you know, what did you do? What happened today when you got up in the morning? And then, there is a story.
There's a
Oh, I
start.
spilled a glass of water, and this is what happened. So this kid said the story so well. So I feel that if every teacher can convert a concept into a story and make it, like storytelling, do it that way, then it's so beautiful. For example, subjects like history. I still remember when my daughter was in school, she had such a wonderful history teacher. Rather, that teacher was responsible for my daughter taking history in classes 11 and 12. She
Okay.
used to teach history like a story. She would sit there, and kids would be so awestruck. Their
Yes.
eyes open, they would just sit and listen to her, and you'd never come to know when the period got over. And that's how they learned history, and all the students did well. I mean, in 11th and 12th, she took history and she managed a good score at the CBSE board examination. So I think, every teacher can do that. And, if we just take off that hat all the time, wearing the hat of a teacher, rather than just go. And I always tell in my workshops, just start your session with a cute little story, man. Story that you came across or that you faced, like what happened when you were coming to the school in the morning today, what you saw at the signal, what happened, and just give them that little bit. So, what do you think happened with you when you were coming to school? So just little engagement in the classroom.
Yes. So nice, ma'am. And last, ma'am, one
Well,
advice to our listeners who are really want to master this English language. What should
it is
they
a
do?
skill. The advice is language is a skill. Don't look at the content of the language. The skill comes with practice. It comes when you work on it. Any skill, cooking is a skill, driving is a skill. You don't master it if you can sit and keep a handbook on driving and see the pictures of the gear and the everything, where is the clutch and where is the brake, but till you actually sit on the driver's seat and practice, you don't get it. And with each practice you become better. So language is a skill. Love it, work on it, expose yourself to language at least 10 or 15 minutes, some very structured practice, a lot of listening, a lot of reading, and automatically your speaking and writing will grow. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming to
Thank
the
you.
Star Talks
Thank you,
today.
Preeti ma'am. Thank you for having me over. Thank you of thinking of me.
Yeah.
And here I must take a minute to thank Mr. Matthew.
Yes.
During COVID times, he started that program, and we were had the good fortune of meeting in the program. And I think things like StreamYard or putting it on YouTube is a skill that we learned when we were in his sessions. And that also motivated me to start my little venture called the Teacher MAGI, which is
Okay.
again an initiative to train teachers online. We are doing a lot of online work there. So thanks, Matthew sir, as he's very, very lovingly called by everyone. And
Yes.
that's where I met you also, Preeti.
Yeah.
And thank you
Yes,
for
ma'am. On that portal only I came
that
across.
portal we
Yes.
met. And since I had saved your number when you called me,
Okay.
I could
That's nice.
immediately respond. It's lovely, lovely to meet you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for this opportunity.
Yeah, I remember you as a storyteller, ma'am. Yes, and you are doing so much more than that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. God's
Best
grace and
wishes to you,
blessings.
ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Namaste. Namaskar.
Namaste. Thank you, my dear audience, for being with us in this lovely chat with Sudha ma'am. And tomorrow again, I will come with another personality who has inspired my life. Goodbye till tomorrow. Thank you.